Hello, my name is John Brown, Vice President of Market Intelligence for TechTarget, and today we're going to talk about DevOps in Europe for the calendar year 2017. This is an area that we are researching pretty extensively because the changes that we're seeing in data centers and the behaviors in data centers is pretty dramatic. I should let you know that we've run this survey. It's actually an annual event. This is the 5th year that we're doing it, and as part of that survey, we examine everything from soup to nuts. I mean, we look at budget allocations, changes in purchase behavior, changes in technology allocation, and we do this for a selfish reason. Because we have 750 editors or so and contributors, we do like to understand what's going on in the marketplace so we know what to write about. And so we use the output of the survey to guide our editorial decisions, but we also like to share it with our customers and potential customers and people in the market so that they can understand what is actually happening in the market, or at least that half of the market that leverages TechTarget. So let's take a closer look at DevOps in Europe in 2017. The first thing is that relatively flat, about 15% of our audience was adopting DevOps for the first time across Europe in 2016, and a similar amount are doing so in 2017. So on the surface, this looks flat, but if we actually peel back a little bit and we look at the individual markets, we can see that surprisingly, France has a high propensity, almost double what we're seeing across the rest of Europe, to be currently adopting DevOps, followed by the UK and Ireland, which are also actually above market, and then trailing really in the DACH region and the Germany, Austria, Switzerland space. The good news is you're able to actually read about each of these different markets with publications that TechTarget produces that are specific to these markets. So in Germany, we produce our content under Search Data Center in Deutsch, so searchdatacenter.de. Our flagship publication is Computer Weekly, which is published out of the UK, but also has editions that are specific to the Nordics as well as outside of Europe in the Asia Pacific region. So we do have a lot of coverage in the space, and we're pretty excited about some of the changes that we're seeing. Earlier I had mentioned, hey, there are some infrastructure changes around DevOps, and this is a little bit of research we did. We did a little bit of digging on behalf of some of our clients, and two things we found. First was that DevOps organizations are 2 to 3 times as likely to be investing in advanced networking compared to the rest of the world. At first, this doesn't make sense, but then you start to think about what's peculiar about DevOps and the fact that the engineers are responsible for operations and they are understanding infrastructure, whereas the infrastructure folks are getting involved in dev and test. One of the things that quickly becomes clear is that having a non-software-defined network can be an impediment. So we see vendors like Cisco, F5, HPE, VMware, Citrix, Brocade, Riverbed, and their competitors actually getting a reasonable amount of attention from these DevOps-enabled organizations. And the results are pretty dramatic. If you thought that networking was dramatic, what else is interesting is that storage is also affected when an organization adopts DevOps. And so we see consideration from mainstream storage vendors, the Dell, EMC, Hitachi, NetApp. Please don't hate me if I forgot your brand, but mainstream storage vendors, hyper-converged infrastructure vendors, networking vendors, all of these get an uptick. If it were me and I were giving out advice, and since this is free and I am giving out advice, one of the things that I would say is if you have a scoring algorithm and you're a networking or a storage vendor and you're selling cutting edge technology, look at that scoring algorithm for your sales leads and see if you've got any weighting as to whether that organization is active in DevOps or not. It probably should be a factor in the way that you weight sales opportunities. In addition, it probably would make sense if you're a storage or networking vendor to get in front of the European DevOps audience and DevOps active organizations to make sure that they're aware of how you fit into that next generation infrastructure. It is an area that our audience is rapidly consuming information. Articles that we write on the topics are amongst our top read. So it's an area that we expect a tremendous amount of growth across Europe over the next, let's call it 18 to 24 months. I'd like to thank you for your time as we talked about the DevOps space in Europe. If you'd like to get a little more information, or you would like to schedule a briefing or talk about a go-to-market program or a product introduction, and you'd like some data to validate some of your assumptions, we're here to help you. All you have to do is to reach out to your TechTarget representative. Thank you very much. Goodbye.